Welcome back to my next Shameless Season 9 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you weren't caught up to the point where I am, a rewatching or watching Shameless, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you found out that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And just in case any of you are wondering, I have seen Shameless all the way through at least one time. Some episodes I've seen more than others. And for the most part, Shameless is a really fun show to watch. Lots of great moments on the show. I know towards the end, which we're coming up on now, I'm not a big fan of the final two seasons. But however, my opinion could change. And seasons 7 and 8 have been, or 8 and 9 have been okay at times. But I think we have a solid 7 seasons. 2 okay to good to okay to good seasons. And then we have the final 2 seasons, which, from what I remember, not the most entertaining. But my opinion could change. But with all that said, this will be Shameless Season 9, Episode 13. The title of this episode is called Lost. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we start off with Frank, and he's waking up at Fiona's building as it's actually getting demolished. A wrecking ball almost hits him. And then as he gets outside, one of the workers is like, "What the hell were you doing in there?" And then Frank, as he's trying to get away, almost gets hit by a car and leaps out of the way, landing on a pole with his right leg. And then the guy comes over. He's like, "Are you okay?" And Frank says he's fine. And then Fiona wakes up at home. Fiona knocks on the bathroom door. I should mention Fiona is actually sober and looking in a good position right now. And Carl's in the bathroom. And Fiona's got to pee. But I put pie. That's pretty funny. Kev's waiting to have sex with V as the time from when the doctor said he could have sex again is almost up. Kev can finally have sex now, and he lasts a disappointing 8 seconds. Fiona makes coffee. Lip asks how she's feeling. She says a little rough around the edges in the morning. And then Fiona asks Lip about Zan, and he informs him of Zan's situation. And then Lip asks her if she wants to catch a meeting this morning. And Fiona says, "Yeah, thanks." And we have Debbie and Kelly talk on the phone. Carl leaves, and Frank needs help on the sidewalk. He wants help inside. And we see that Frank's leg is bleeding. And Kelly checks it out and sees a bone sticking out. So how the hell Frank walked, I don't know how far it was from where he was, from Fiona's building to where the Gallagher house is, but he had a bone sticking out of his leg and actually made it to the house. That's crazy. Well, at least the fence next to the house. And then we have Tammy's dad stops by and tells Lip that she's keeping the baby. So it's obvious that he's probably a pro-life guy, which I fluctuate between pro-life and pro-choice. I see both points. I guess it's really not my opinion because I'm not the one having the baby. But he mentions a bunch of times that she's keeping the baby. And then Frank takes his drugs out of his pocket. And Fiona's like, "I'm going to call 911. But Frank he's waiting for his associates to arrive to complete a transaction before he goes to the hospital. Carl gets a letter as he's outside, and he was rejected in the first cuts at West Point Military Academy. Frank's associates arrive as the ambulance arrives at the same time, so they get in, get out as the ambulance people or the paramedics are coming in. And Frank says he's in a lot of pain, and Frank wants some fentanyl. Fiona's going to go with Frank to the ER. She goes upstairs to tell Liam, but he's nowhere around. And like I mentioned the previous couple episodes, Liam's just kind of disappeared, and I was wondering, where's Liam at? Kev's disappointed with his 8 seconds. Fee doesn't think they need to have this conversation in front of the girls. Lip talks to Brad about Tammy's dad showing up. Brad says, "Don't fuck with Bob." Fiona gives Frank Coke, crackers, and a bedpan. Fiona says she can't stay the whole time because she has a meeting. And then Frank says, "Oh, Christ, AA, did you let Lip recruit you into that cult?" And Fiona says, "Meeting with the public defender." And then Frank tells Fiona what happened with her building. He says he should sue the bastards. And then Frank keeps asking the doctors for something to help with the pain. Obviously, he wants some hardcore drugs. Frank always wants some hardcore drugs. And then a doctor finally tells Frank that they'll be over to examine him shortly. Fiona calls Debbie about Liam not answering his phone, so Debbie's going to check on Liam as well. And then Debbie and Kelly are hanging out in a store that has like Kevlar vests and different stuff for like military people or something like that. It's probably a gun store or something like that. I didn't catch it though. I didn't know if they named it or not. And then we see Liam. What Liam is doing is playing a video game with Todd at Todd's grandma's house. And Liam is actually purposely ignoring his phone calls. Well, he knows they're calling. He sees that they called, but he's not answering the calls or replying to messages. He says it took them 2 days to realize that he was gone, so they can't be too worried. And then now we're at the seafood restaurant. Lori knows something's bothering Carl, and he tells her he didn't make the first cuts for the military school. The doctor takes a look at Frank and says he's going to the OR and getting some narcotics, and now we just have to find somebody that knows that they're not going to get paid for this. Fiona meets with her public defender about the racist neighbor she punched, and she tells Fiona to get a job. Having a black brother may help, and she tells her get a job and stay sober, no alcohol. And then the school actually finds out that both Amy and Gemma are going to the school. Kermit tells Kev it's not good to let doctors near your man parts with anything sharp. V gets the call at the alibi. The nuns know about both the girls being there. Tammy tells Lip her dad doesn't know shit, and Lip wants to come to the doctor's appointment with Tammy. Debbie and Kelly arrive back at the Gallagher house. Liam, are you home? Debbie says. Kelly tells Debbie that she's going to fly jets in the Navy. Debbie, Kelly, and Franny are jumping up and down. Doctor says, Frank, the doctor asks Frank how he's doing, and he starts fucking with Frank. The young doctor is going to do the surgery. He's never done that kind of surgery before. Tammy tells Lip she needs a drink after her appointment, but that doesn't do Lip any good because she's like, fuck, you don't even drink. Lori says some more sexual inappropriate stuff to Carl, and then someone comes into the seafood restaurant after Lori leaves and points a gun with pink on it at Carl, saying, give me the fucking money. Money shit. Give me the goddamn money. And then Carl says, pull the trigger. My life couldn't get any worse. My girlfriend's doing this. And then the guy actually pulls the trigger and shoots, but it doesn't hit Carl. It just goes off of something else. And then Carl jumps over the counter and actually beats this guy up with the fryer. Like, beating him up with a fryer. Like, you don't tell me that my girlfriend this, and this. Fiona's looking to do a job at a small gas station. The Nuds want the back tuition, or they want Kev to play Jesus, carrying this cross, which we find out later. And then, we would have to have Kev carry a long, large cross on his shoulder for this Jesus role. Tammy tells Liv her tests done. There's a possibility that she might have cancer. And her sister has the non-cancerous thing. And then Perfect Corey is got nothing wrong with her. Was that her name, Corey? The one that he slept with? No, my nose itches. Fiona goes to an AA meeting. She says she's not sure that she's an alcoholic. She talks about her family, as a bunch of addicts, her father, her mother. And then we actually have Eliza, who's also at this meeting, the person that's now in charge of Patsy's Pies. Carl gets home, and Debbie and Kelly are sleeping on the couch. Debbie and Kelly start kissing, and then Kelly says she's not gay and freaks out. Shit, I totally led you on. We could still be friends. And V says Jesus was African. Tommy says fuck off. This is at the alibi, of course. Kermit and Tommy laugh at the pants Kev will have to wear to this, being Jesus as well. Eliza talks to Fiona, tells her the coffee is shit and keep coming, it works. The doctor tells Frank it was a mess in there. Frank's whining about more drugs. The other doctors can't wait to discharge him with all the unpaid bills that he's racked up at the hospital. He tells the younger doctor to send him home with the more established doctor tells the younger doctor to send him home, Frank, with 20 oxy. He'll be happy as a clan. Not to worry, doctor. Only 2 things will be left roaming the earth after the next apocalypse: cockroaches and Frank Gallagher. And Frank says he's feeling pain, whining in the background still. And then Fiona apologizes to Liv for missing the early meeting today, mentions taking Frank to the hospital. Fiona says it's fucked up. I was doing so well for a while. She doesn't know if she has a chance, and Liv says you do have a chance. And then Fiona's got to go to work. Lip texts Liam while Liam's watching a movie. He'll ignore Lip as well. Fiona gets to the gas station. Carl hears Debbie crying. What the fuck's wrong with you? Leave me alone, Carl. And then he goes to talk to Debbie outside. She doesn't love me. Who? Kelly. I tried to kiss her. I thought they did kiss for a second. And Carl tells Debbie he fucked up the guy at the seafood restaurant. Debbie says sorry that Carl didn't make it past the first cut at the academy. And then we see Kev dragging a cross in the street. And I don't know if they actually knew it was Kev or not. And they asked her, they're like, is that Jesus? And we have Max, the guy that bought Fiona's building. He stops into the gas station. He asks how she's been. And she says she's been better. And then Max actually wants to buy Fiona out of that partnership for the old folks home. Because that's going to be a thing. They just need like 6 months for her to complete it. And he'll call her in the morning and we'll get it done. And then Fiona starts to cry because she knows, shit, I just fucking got bailed out of my situation. And then we have paramedics bring Frank back home and just leave him in the middle of the street in a wheelchair. And that's what ends this episode of Shameless. So, okay stuff in this episode. I'm going to give the episode an 8.0 out of 10. My female character of the episode is going to be Fiona. Unfortunately, Fiona in the next episode, that's it for Fiona. And then my male character of the episode, I'm going to give this one to Carl Gallagher. Carl had some good moments in this episode. Obviously, he's really upset about the whole Kelly situation. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Shameless and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button. And keep in mind, I cover a lot of stuff on this channel. If you go to my playlist, not only do I cover Shameless, I cover Dexter, I cover The Walking Dead, different iterations of The Walking Dead, Big Bang Theory, Lucifer, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, some Stranger Things stuff, Cobra Kai stuff, UFC live fight reactions, movie rankings, franchise rankings, all that and more. So make sure you check out my playlist, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Shameless. What would you score the episode, and who would be your male female character? Who would be your male character of the episode? Who would be your female character of the episode? And anything else that you want to add? Click right here for my Shameless series finale rant video. Assuming that you've seen every single episode of Shameless, I did do a video when the show was ending about how my thoughts were on the finale. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDevTV.